Manifestation. A place where we inform, build, and inspire. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. A place where we inform. Manifestation. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. A place where we inform. Manifestation. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter. Make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. Man up. A place where we inform. Manifestation. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
All right. Welcome to another phenomenal week at Manifestations 2020. Good to see everybody back here again this week. We had a great show last week. We honored the late, great Dr. Neely Fuller. Such a legendary man that made a lot of waves and created so many people on the right path of trying to get tangible things done. And just getting back to the code of conduct that we talked about that has been missing since the early 1900s. which made and built Black Wall Street. And it carried us all the way down to the civil rights until the 70s when they came in with the feminist propaganda. And that's what kind of destroyed and broke up everything from our creativity, from our code of conduct, our behavior. We just been out of whack and out of line. Now that we see how this world is running, we have to get back. It's very imperative that we get back to our foundational makeup, which is that true Black empowerment. You know, we run around here and put our fist up and talk about Black empowerment all day, but we're not really going out here to really create Black empowerment or exude or promote in such a tangible way. We talk about Black empowerment and then let the dominant society give us symbolic things, gestures, as if that is real Black empowerment. That is far from the truth. And what happens is over the time, we've seen that we have been regressing and losing a lot of things that our ancestors have built. And I always tell people this: how is it that our ancestors in the 1920s, the Black Wall Street era, where we have Black Wall Streets all over, how is it that we can financially build the biggest, wealthiest, generating communities this world has ever seen? Even to this day, in modern time, nobody created more financial wealth and gained more financial wealth than the Black Wall Street. Now, how is it during that time, during Jim Crow, not able to get anywhere, being lynched, being beaten, and confined to a certain area, were they able to build Black banks, Black institutions, Black facilities, and everything that we needed for ourselves, farmers? We had a lot of Black businesses, even to this day, they're going on 80, 90, 100 years. You know, we were able to create so much greatness during a time that was so contaminated, violent, and very horrendous to the Black people in general. You basically could walk out your house and get killed for free.
Right.
Injustice, right? Mm-hmm. And now we have a little bit more protection. We also have a lot more resources. We have a lot more access to capital, access to wealth than they did. Yet we're losing everything that they created. That does not make sense, family. We gotta get our stuff together, get our ducks in order, and start moving like how our ancestors do. That's why I laugh every time I see people that wear shirts that say, "I'm not my ancestors." You're right. You're saying it in a way like you're better than your ancestors, and then that's wrong. Your ancestors were better than you.
Right.
And I'm telling you this because you're seeing everything now versus you versus the ancestors. The ancestors are winning. They're winning with less resources. That's crazy. And we sit back and we thinking that we're winning because the dominant society give us symbolic gestures and you consider that a win. That would be laughed at in our ancestors' time. Remember, they didn't lay down when they talked about the bus. They boycotted the bus system. You're talking about people that walk 17 miles and 17 miles to work, 17 miles from work, just so that they could have a code of conduct. You tell somebody right now to this day, hey, we're not taking the bus. Let's walk 17 miles to work. They're going to look at you and be like, nigga, I'm finna jump on these bus with these white folks.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a code. We don't see the bigger picture. We don't know how to put the stance down.
Right.
And, you know, shout out to Professor Black Truth. Shout out to Black Authority, Jason Black. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to these individuals that are out here that are showing us how to get back on code, and how we get on code has done tangible effects, which has gotten us a lot of great things to this day. You know, making the move, reparations. Those are the talks that these gentlemen had that were going against powerful media that had way more funding than them, and they're crushing them. How is that? Because they had the code. See, that's what I'm talking about. That identical code that they're running with is the same identical code that our ancestors had. That's why they were able to get way more with less resources. Because once you have that code and you stand together, it's more powerful than people putting money behind false shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they're able to crush these mega media talking points and everything like that, because now they have the family on code. Once you get the family on code, you can move mountains. And we're seeing that, because reparations was not on nobody's talking points until these brothers came out here, went against the propaganda media and destroying all of these pundits that are getting millions to push you guys into the slaughterhouse. And yet you have guys out here that's thousandaires that's getting people away from the slaughterhouse. That's real power. And I land my plane and turn it over to you, Major.
No, I mean, that's facts, bro. Like, you know, these guys, you know, they don't take much seriously. You know, we talked on the last show about this, you know, about how we as a collective don't take things as seriously as we should. And that's what's stunting our progress. You know, at the end of the day, yes, it is imperative that we have a code because, like you pointed out, you know, look at the state that we're in now when we have so much more. The sky's the limit if we could just simply get on code. And that's going to require discipline. We're going to have to unlearn a lot of things because, unfortunately, we're in this mental state of enslavement. That's really what it boils down to. They took away the chains, but they didn't take away the chains. And this is a much more powerful slavery. You have no idea how I sit up and I just talk to brothers and sisters and I present them with facts. Fact after fact after fact. You know, I'm very facts-based when I talk.
Yeah.
And it don't matter how many facts you present to them, they'll still go back and reinforce this white man's lies. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, no matter how, the hardest thing that I've been able to do, or been trying to do, the hardest thing that I've been trying to do is trying to get through to these liberal niggas. You understand what I'm saying? These black folks that have been programmed to think that the liberals are sugar and spice and everything nice. You know, trying to get into their head is like pulling teeth from a goddamn tiger. You understand what I'm saying? Like, bruh, they just don't absorb information well. Whatever you say goes in one ear and out the other. Even when they pretend to be attentive, they pretend that they're listening, they're always just going to revert back to the lie that they're being told on MSNBC and CNN. And then they wonder why I'll go harder on the Democrats, because I don't see black people being brainwashed by the Republicans. I only see most black folks being brainwashed by the Democrats. And, you know, we need to become fact-based. You know, whatever it is that whoever's saying needs to be vetted. We don't just need to be taking nobody's word at face value for nothing. Period. You know, and when we stop being lazy and we start looking into things that are being said and vetting stuff before we go posting it online, trying to be the first nigga to post it, trying to be seen, instead of trying to learn from what is being said and trying to understand who is coming to us in good faith and speaking truth versus who is just trying to finesse us into some bullshit. You understand? Once we get to that area and we become politically mature, unfortunately, black folks politically as a group, we're children. You understand what I'm saying? If we're just being totally honest, it doesn't apply to everybody. So I don't want to hear nobody saying, well, I know it's not everybody. No shit. You understand what I'm saying? But there are way too many of us politically that are children. We don't require proof of much of anything. If you just say it and make it sound good, then here we go. Case in point. They just gave Kamala Harris some type of award at the NAACP Image Awards. Kamala, some type of award. Hold up. hold. Let me. I don't want to be wrong because this just it floored me. Kamala Harris Award. Okay. The prestigious Chairman's Prize. They just awarded Kamala Harris, who is not even a black woman, the prestigious Chairman's Prize at the NAACP Image Award. And they wonder why they've lost black people. This don't make no damn sense. Again, the white people told us that she's black. Never mind, she first came when she first came out, she said she was Indian. The white people told us she's black, so therefore she's black now. And we're not only going to acknowledge her as a black woman, we're going to exalt her and award her for doing jack shit for the black community and telling us that she wasn't going to do shit for the black community. These goofy niggas need their ass kicked. Whoever gave her this award, the fuck you giving Kamala Harris awards for at a black ceremony? You can't take these niggas seriously. This is the problem. That right there is the problem. And I'll park the Chevy. That's some bullshit.
Yo, Bobby, what you got going on, man? What you want to add in on that real quick?
Well, you know, first off, you got to look at who's actually in control of the NAACP.
Facts.
I mean,
facts.
See, that's the games that they play. That's the gamesmanship that they play. This is why ownership is always been pivotal and critical for black people, because if you don't own it, if you don't control it, then it's not for you. Plain and simple. Just like BET. The reason why BET was as beneficial to black people as it used to be under the Bob Johnson era was because it was owned and controlled by a black person, and the mission was initially true to its name. A television network owned by black people for black people, meant to entertain us. And that's why BET was as popular as it was. As soon as the network was sold off to non-black folks, to non-black interests, you can almost immediately see the decline of the quality of the content. And then you see the tackiness, the trashiness, the terroristicness of the content that was put in there. Everything that made BET a staple and the icon in history that it is, because it still is that. But that's the good old days. Now BET is only good for boule talking points. You know, if you need to try and disseminate a message to black folk here, and reruns of B and C ranked movies. Oh, and every year they have that Ghetto Fabulous Trash-tastic award show that we're supposed to pretend that we care about. That's it. But to steer the wagon back to the subject of the night, the importance of knowing true black history, I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm just going to go to one of my favorite quotes. Actually, I think it really is the penultimate take on the importance of history. And that comes from one of our great master teachers, arguably the top of the totem pole of our black master teachers, that be none other than the one and only Dr. John Henrik Clarke. And he said that history is not everything, but it is a starting point. History is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. It is a compass they use to find themselves on the map of human geography. It tells them where they are, but more importantly, what they must be. And that's the key. Why is that right there is the whole summary. What's going on, Lynn? Shout out, sis.
All right.
That right there is the whole crux of the matter. Why? What is the importance of knowing true black history? Why does it matter? Who cares? What does it matter if they only recycle the same 2 or 3 faces for the same 2 or 3 quotes from them, or whether they give us the whole gamut? What does it matter? That's it right there. Because our history, and I wouldn't even go so far as to even say black history, because really it's history, period. The fact that it's even segmented is an issue. The reason why it's segmented is because for the longest time, black history, or the elements of history that black people are responsible for and have contributed to has been left out. The very fact that there's even a Black History, why it's even segmented, shows the issue. And so it's important that history be taught in its full, proper context, because without it, we don't know where we are today. We don't understand the current state of affairs that we're in right now. We don't understand why the past looks the way it is. We don't know what the future is going to hold, but most importantly, it tells us where we must be. If you know history, you know what you should be supposed to be doing right now, because as they say, the best predictor of the future is the past. That's the closest we have to a magic 8-ball, to a fortune-telling device or whatever. That's the closest we have to peeking into the future. Well, what does the past look like? What does that resemble? So if you don't know your history, if you don't know the past, then you're doomed to repeat it, especially if it's the negative aspects of it right there. And it's very important, if you want to control people's destiny, you have to find ways to lock them off from that. And again, once again, going to the master teacher himself, John Henrik Clarke, powerful people cannot afford to educate the people that they oppress, because once you are truly educated, you will not ask for power, you will take it. And with that, I'm going to be a little presumptuous and add on to that, you will also know how to go about taking it. You will know what you're supposed to take, because if you go to the buffet and you don't know what you're supposed to grab, you can waste a lot of time picking up things that aren't going to serve you or might even send you backward. But if you know the past, you know exactly what is going to take you towards your end goal. If you're building a house and you need some nails to go ahead and knock to get those walls into place, grabbing a screwdriver isn't going to help you. Grabbing a wrench isn't going to help you. Grabbing pliers isn't going to help you. You need to grab a hammer. But if you have no concept of construction, you don't know how to use tools, you don't know what tools are for, if that's been kept from you, then you're going to spend a lot of time fumbling and bumbling around, when the person that knows off top, this is what I need to use, this is what I need to be doing, they can get right to work. Parking the dome.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. And that's so basically what Major and Bobby Drake was telling you guys is, a lot of times if you don't know history, also if you're not listening, paying attention, and doing the corrective research to find out things, the dominant society will funnel you in the direction that they want to. That's the reason why they give you the history that they give you in school. Right now, we're going to show you a lot of history, Black history, that was never told to you, was never taught to you. And if it was never taught to you, then you don't carry it down to your children. You don't teach it to your children, and they don't know. So they're thinking that the real history is the one that's doctored and made and tailor-made for you, because his story is what you're taking as factual story. And they make it like that, just like the whole thing about making Africa look smaller on the map versus how really big it is. It's psychologically, it plays with your mind because it makes you feel smaller. When they don't show you the bigger picture of how big your history is, how monumental your history is, and how much impactful your history is, you're not going to think like your ancestors to make and continue that impactful wave. You're going to think that you were born slaves, you were beat, you were cotton pickers, and now you're free from that. You should be happy. And then the reality of it is that even in slavery, there was a lot of millionaires, Black millionaires during the slave times, or in the early period of the century, that you had Black people that were millionaires, that was living really good lives. And even when you look at the history of Florida, there's a documented stuff. Shout out to Emmanuel George for putting together Black history and creating archiving a lot of the Black history. But he showed you multiple families in the Broward area that had vehicles that were supposed to be owned only by white folks, and the whole family had it, and their friends had it. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much history. They had grocery stores, they had everything. They built hospitals, they built banks, they built schools that's named after them. They did so much, but because they don't tell you and they can find that information, you guys don't have the mindset to go and build that, because you don't think it's possible, or we even have the capability to do that. So with that being said, I'm going to show you some of the trick bags, and this, I'm so glad that sometimes, there's things that reveal what we talk about. You know, we always get that whole they say conspiracy high five moment, you know, when we've been telling you this things for the longest and y'all thought it was fake, and now it's coming out, and now the conspiracy theories are getting their high fives and their flowers because they've been telling y'all that, because they do the real research and not being programmed by the propaganda machine out there. So one of that stuff that I've been telling you guys about, this is a video right now that'll show you exactly what we're talking about.
The real F around and find out moment is here. A lot of people are looking at the Black community thinking that we are the recipients and benefactors of DEI programs and affirmative action programs. And I know affirmative action is no longer, but whenever they hear the term DEI or they hear the term affirmative action, they look to the Black community thinking that we are the benefactor. Now, here's some information for you. The #1 recipient of DEI are white women. That is according to the U.S. Department of Labor. And others fall under that group, under the minority group, the ethnic minority. #1 recipient under that group are Latino and Hispanic Americans. #2 are Asian Americans. #3 are Native Americans. #4, individuals with disability. #5, veterans. Okay? And #6, the LGBTQ plus community. And guess who comes last at receiving DEI benefits? Guess who comes last? That's right. Black Americans. Black people. Let me also say, you can do a Google search and you will see the primary benefactors of DEI programs are not only white women, but white men, white male CEOs. Those are the ones who have benefited the most.
All right. So as you guys, there's so many archive videos that we have on here. You guys can go back and check. Facts is facts. Been telling people about this for the longest. For years, I've been telling people, look at the state of using the word people of color, minority. When you look at minority and people of color, and these are words that your own politicians keep using, politicians that look like you, you know, and I always ask them, I said, okay, why are you guys putting policies with those wordings in there and making it seem like it's for Black folks? Because when they hide, you remember they haven't done census in a long time, and there's a reason why they haven't done census, because whites are the minority. So when you're sitting out here promoting all of this minority of people of color, and you're putting all these policies in for the future, now they're already labeled as the dominant society, so they're getting the benefits now. When they become the minority or they realize they're the minority, now they get all of the benefits you put in line. And they've been getting that from the whole time. It's a trick bag. It's a double-edged sword. We're on the losing end of it. So I've been telling people, stop saying people of color and minority. You're not the only minority. And she just labeled all the minorities in the DEI breakdown. Gay LGBT is a minority. You know what I'm saying? Veterans are minorities. You get what I'm saying?
Gay men are minorities.
Huh?
White gay men are minorities.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're
White men with
minorities.
disabilities are minorities. Everybody except a straight, able-bodied white male is a minority. So when we allow them to put us in that bag, yeah, we're allowing them to make us go for the okie doke.
And she even said that the white males are the biggest recipients along with white women. So they still fall under the minority guidelines. And we're the last ones to get anything. So this is the trick bag that we keep falling for. And we see Black pundits that's out here that's telling you the Boulets, the Roland Martins, all these other motherfuckers. I can't, it's a list of them. You know what I'm saying? That keep telling you guys to go out here and fight for DEI. Why are they telling you to fight for something that goes against everything that you're trying to build and gain? That's crazy to me. So that's why they say people that look like you ain't your real folks, kin folks. Skin folks ain't your kin folks. That's just what you're seeing right now. And that's why the underground media and platforms like Manifestations 2020 is out here to do what we need to do to keep you guys above surface level and to look through the matrix with the peripheral vision of 2020 and not be blindsided or being blown smoke in your face like all of these people with the big platforms and all these celebrities that are being paid to funnel you into the slaughterhouse. They're getting a paycheck to send you in a negative direction, to keep you docile. They're no difference than the Black guys that was on the slave master plantation as the overseers that was ready to kill you for trying to be free. They're no different than that. They're just not holding the gun. You know what I'm saying? So we got to understand that part of the psychological part of it that is being very destructive and very misleading from people that look like us. So pay attention to the words they use, pay attention to the people that they associate with, because if you associate with them, you're going to be poisoned too. You're going to look like this. This is a video that I had to put out to show you why it's important to get away from those type of people. All right. All right, so hanging with those people, listening to those people, you're going to be a fruitful person that goes into something that's not fruitful, that's bad, that's being decayed slowly by slowly. And that's what's happening. They're decaying you when you listen and you follow to their rhetoric and their teachings and preachings. All right, so just wanted to get that out there. You guys want to follow up on that, or you guys want to get into the next thing?
Oh man, you said something key. I got it, and it triggered me. I remember something, so I'm gonna need everybody to clap with me real quick. I'm gonna get everybody to clap with me. We need a round of applause because Joy Reid's show got canceled this week.
Nice.
All right. So
during Black History Month.
You talking about? You said something about the boule bootlicking Negroes that don't talk about shit getting canceled. You understand what I'm saying? And needing to be canceled, and you know, us getting people up out the paint. That's just like the niggas that sold us into slavery. That's where it begins. No longer listening to morons like Joy Reid. You understand what I'm saying? I can name some of these other Sambos for you besides Roland Martin. You got Roland Martin, you got Ricky Smiley, you got D.L. Hughley, you got Steve Harvey, you got Al Sharpton. They got a whole goddamn football team. Including the niggas on the sidelines. You understand what I'm saying? Full of coons that they put out here on display for us to follow, because we, again, are, as a group, politically children. We're not politically sophisticated enough yet, but we sure as hell getting there, because sure as I got a name, they just canceled Joy Reid's show.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, Roland Martin, his shit got canceled back in the day. I don't know why anybody's even still listening to this nigga. He did some real shady stuff. He's sending Hillary Clinton interview questions and shit. Like, that's not journalism. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you really got to look at people like that for what they are. He's telling you with his actions that he's a piece of shit that'll do anything for a quick buck. He's dishonest. He's underhanded. He's not even a man.
Exactly.
You understand? And he got all these people still listening to him. For what? What has Roland Martin ever told us to do that has actually bared any type of fruit? I'll wait. D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, the same thing. These niggas just talk in circles. All they do is get on radio and flap their dick suckers, telling them what the Democrats done told them to say. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? So we're starting to get the presence of mind that's telling us not to fuck with people that ain't really taking us nowhere with what they're saying. I love listening to Tariq Nasheed. I love listening to Phil Scott. I love listening to Jason Black, Professor Black Truth, these type of people, Vicky Dillard, because of the simple fact that their rhetoric is action-based. Even when they're telling us to refrain from doing things. They're not telling us don't vote. They're telling us don't vote unless there are tangible benefits directed towards our group. That is action-based. That's saying, okay, we're going to take this action until we get what we want. And it looks like, you know, it may be starting to work. People may be starting to take us seriously. It may take us a few voting cycles, but we need to start listening to people that have us going somewhere. You know, these guys are always promoting collective economics. That's going somewhere. They're always promoting, you know, things like reparations, things like Black people having a crime bill that protects us specifically, an anti-hate crime bill that protects us specifically. That is a tangible thing that we can use. You understand what I'm saying? That's who we need to be listening to, not niggas that just tell us to do whatever the Democrats want us to do. That shit has gotten us nowhere. You understand? And I think that we're starting to realize it wholesale.
Well said. I do want to give you a shout out to somebody that you put me up on that is super dope, and I would love more women to follow this woman. But Sabi Sab, you put me up on Sabi Sab. Sabi Sab, right?
She is a beast. I want her on the show.
Yeah. And see if you can do that. See if you can get it, because I've been listening to her while I was at work. You know what I'm saying? While I'm at work, I listen to her. Man, she gets down, bro. She gets that stuff down. Yeah.
Sabi, let me tell you the difference between Sabi and everybody else. See, because people like, you know, this guy Claude that follows me, J-Ho, London Black, some of those people who I'm always getting into it with because they're just kind of, you know, liberal drones. You know, the problem, they say that I have an issue with liberals. You know, I have an issue with people on the left. I don't have an issue with people on the left. Sabi is left of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. You understand? She's very much left, but she's not fucking stupid. You know what I'm saying? And like, she calls out bullshit from whoever she sees it from. She calls it out. That's why I like Sabi. It don't have to be, because you know how Democrats are. They only see bullshit when it comes from the right.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Biden can be pissing on their leg all day telling them it's raining, and you know, they're checking the forecast for tomorrow to see when it's going to stop raining. You did?
Yeah.
Like a sequel, it's like a sequel to Bird Box.
Yeah, man, facts. And I like, go ahead.
And she did something that most people on the left don't do, which is talk to somebody on the far right. She had a guy on there that was like I think he was in the armed forces, some kind of high-ranking armed official, and he was talking about Trump and, you know, why people, you know, he was really a hardcore Trump supporter. But the way she tailored it, it wasn't really focused on him talking about Trump. He was really just saying that people just need to wake up and see what really is going on. You know, if you hate Trump, he's like, if you hate Trump, you hate Trump, but hate him for things that you know for a fact that you can hate him on. Just don't hate him because people out there are telling you to hate him. You know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that when you can do, that's real journalism, when you can open up to the other side and let them talk, so you guys can have a real dialogue and dissect it, so you know what's real and what's not. So yeah, definitely shout out to her, and see if you could get her on the show.
I'm gonna holler at her. She up there though. She got a lot of followers, so I don't know if she gonna. I don't know, but I'm gonna try with everything I have because I like to see sisters like that. I like to see sisters thinking. You know, the same way I don't like to see any of us, you know, in the group think that causes us to be, you know, followers on the Democrat plantation. You know, I like to see that in sisters in particular because, you know, a lot of times women will tell you, well, I'm not really into politics, you know, and I don't really deal with that.
Yeah.
And that, I'm telling you, sisters, when I hear that, I cringe. Because, sisters, you are mothers, you are wives, you are business owners, you are powerful, and you're the majority. Women are the majority. So how the fuck you not gonna be involved in the political process, bruh? You know, it bothers me. And then when I see sisters like her, when I see sisters like Erica Lachey, when I see sisters like Mila Renee, oh my God, oh joy. I'm so excited because, you know, it breaks that barrier that says, okay, you know, you have to be, as a woman, you have to be like this. You have to be Miss Cutesy and all this old shit. I hate that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to see sisters lead with their mind, even if you are cute. Ain't nothing wrong with being cute. You understand what I'm saying? But when it becomes all about being cute, now you're diminishing women and what women really have to offer. You know what I'm saying? You're not representing women well. I get offended when I see that. You know what I'm saying? Because Black women in particular, you know how sisters are when they get down. We've listened to Frances Cress Welsing and Shahrazad Ali and all these types of people. You understand what I'm saying? So when sisters really lock in like that, that's why I kept talking about her, right? Because I knew you would listen to her eventually. That sister is razor sharp. And I'm going to try with everything I got to get her on here. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Dude.
Facts.
To co-sign what you're saying, that's right there is how you can understand or how you can know whether or not someone is actually competent and knows what the hell they're actually talking about.
Yeah.
Because we understand that for a number of different reasons, but people like to simply be heard, whether they have something to say or not. But people looking to mislead you definitely want to make sure they're not only holding the microphone, but they want to make sure there's no other viewpoints that can get in.
Yeah.
That's the problem with echo chambers. Now, the reason why we list a lot of the same exact sources, place that we get our information from, it's not because we dwell in a bubble or an echo chamber, but because these are avenues that hold up in the real world.
Yeah.
A lot of these people, the Boulay Bird Martins, the joy or really the misery reads in them. Things that they say, misery. It's joy that she's off the air now. How long she's off.
Oh, I can't stand that lady.
The things they say do not stack up in the real world. And the only time sense comes out their lips is if they're taking talking points of somebody else, or because you have sources from the grassroots, like the New Black Media, who are putting the truth out there. Other people are echoing it and saying it, and they're forced to now go ahead and speak on it and address it because otherwise they're going to look behind the eight ball, or like they're not, or like they're being false reporters by not covering it. It's no different than the Ferguson riots that took place all those years ago.
Right.
When it was happening, there was absolutely no news coverage. The government was intent on not broadcasting and showing this to the world. It was social media that forced their hand because you had people with their phones going live on Twitter, uploading videos on MySpace and everywhere else, and they're saying, well, damn, it's crazy. The whole city's been on fire for a grip now. We ain't got no news cameras, no news helicopters, no news coverage. Why is no one seeing this? And finally, the outcry got to the point where it's like, damn, if we don't cover this, we're going to look bad. We're going to look complicit. Well, now we're going to go ahead and cover it. They were forced to go ahead and do the right thing. Now, when you have people that don't go out there and actually talk to anybody, or when they do it, it's poorly executed, that's how you can tell who's legit and who's not. One of the great things about Jason Black Authority, is when he went ahead and did his documentary, one of his documentaries, Race War. What made that so pivotal, so groundbreaking, and so legendary was that he did what nobody else had the balls or stones to do at that time. All right, maybe the closest was probably Vice, back when Vice was actually a thing. Vice pretty much fallen off the airways now, but In the aftermath of Charlottesville and the uprising of the alt-right, Jason Black took it upon himself to go out, no private security, no nothing, and he went and sat with the prime white supremacist leaders of the country. He sat with your can't remember the names at this point, but he's talked with your Jared, was it Jared Taylor, I believe, Jared Taylor, what have you. Mm-hmm. He talks with other foolish, and he went and sat and interviewed them, spoke to them. He didn't talk about them and what he thinks, what he observes. He went a step further. He went and taught them, and he asked them questions. Now you'll have your Vice entertainment. They'll go and do those kind of interviews. They'll go and interview gang members. They'll go and interview white supremacists. They don't care about that. But this is a white publication. They're only going to go so far because they're not trying to advance our interests. You had somebody who is coming from a black empowerment perspective asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting on wax what these people think.
Yeah.
And even in the case with Jared, it's probably I can't remember his name. It's been a minute since anyone's mentioned him, so it's a little rusty.
Jared Taylor. Yeah.
Jared Taylor. Okay, I did have it right.
He's the older one.
Went to this man's residence. He went literally in the belly of the beast to get the interview.
That's G.
On camera.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Took nuts. And it further underscores that, again, we talked about this before. White supremacy has disdain for us, but what they do is they have respect for you when they see that you're about that action. Now, afterwards, you had Boule Bird Martin talk about A Tale of Two Cities, tried to go and do the same thing, went ahead and had, forgot who the other person was. There was other people he mentioned, but it was Jared Taylor, was someone else, a younger guy, I can't remember his name.
I know you're talking about.
I can't remember his name.
I'm trying to find his name.
But Boule Bird tried to go ahead and say, well, we can do that too. And
He's talking about Richard Spencer, I think.
Richard Spencer.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
He went and invited Richard Spencer on his little hackney show back when he was still on the air. And he let that man dog walk him in circles on his own platform.
Mm-hmm.
Because Roland Martin, this is going to be hilarious.
Bitch him out. Pardon my French. He had that man bitch him out right then and there. He had that man ask him, do you identify as a black man?
Oh, that shit was priceless. Yeah. Woo! And Roland
that
Martin.
boy tap dance in front of he said, well, I'm a man. I'm a Christian. Are you a Christian? He's like, nigga, ain't nobody asked you about your religious practice. He asked, are you a black man? This is a white supremacist that has no issue telling you, yes, I'm a white man, and I'm looking out the white people's best interest.
Facts.
Meanwhile, you supposedly speak for the streets, the grassroots. Man, ask you a simple question. A simple question. I'm gonna tell you how simple the question is. Kindergartners, when they fill out forms, when elementary school students fill out forms at school or any form, you fill out forms in the surveys, age, sex, race or ethnic background, right there. Black, African American, Asian Pacific Islander, Hispanic, Latino, blah 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 blah. All he asks you to do is check the damn box. You check everywhere else.
Come on.
And you could not bring yourself to say I'm a black man.
Mm.
You know why? Because, and it's gonna sound real funny. It's gonna sound real funny.
Go ahead.
Roland Martin is a lightweight.
Lightweight.
I know that sounds crazy.
That might be one of the greatest ironies in history.
He got destroyed. He got destroyed.
Truck he didn't like.
Yeah,
he got destroyed.
Yet he's not a fellow. He's an atom weight.
Yeah,
he got
destroyed. He's got to hold on for dear life.
He got destroyed by New Era King. I don't know if you ever followed New Era King on Instagram.
I think he was young.
At that time, he was a 19-year-old black dude. Oh, he tore Roland Martin ass up on his own show, bro.
I've seen a few people tear Roland Martin up, and as they should, because Roland Martin is a prime example of exactly the type of people we don't need to be listening to.
He and others like him. I'm gonna toss it in real quick, and I'll hand it back to you.
Yeah.
And this is to harp on Roland Martin. This is just one of many we're talking about. These are just examples, real world examples of putting it to the acid test, letting the rubber meet the road. We find out that you got some Goodyear never run flats out here that can hold up to all kind of broken glass, nails, whatever you throw at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got some little tinfoil aluminum wheels you missing.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it wrong, the flip bends over in half right here. But your Joy Reeds, your Roland Martins, they can be described as what you call, we have other terms for them, but I'm going to introduce another term into people's lexicon. Look up Judas goats.
Okay.
Now, what is a Judas goat? Most people probably never heard of that because it's a term that they have in agriculture. A Judas goat, basically, and it's in the name, it's basically a goat that's used in animal herding to lead sheep or cattle to a specific destination, often and most commonly leading them to a slaughter while its own life is spared. So if you run a slaughterhouse, for example, you got calves, whatever, and it's going to take a lot of work and effort to try and steer all these animals to go to the impending death. And also, they can also tend to sense that animals are very sensitive to smells and things like that. They can smell blood. They can smell, fear, that kind of tension in the air. They can smell pheromones or hormones in the air. They can tell when some shady shit's going on. But so they'll go ahead and save themselves the work and also make it easy on themselves. They'll go ahead and train a goat specifically for the purpose of basically gaining the trust and leading them towards their own demise. The term comes from cattle drives from the U.S. back in the 1800s. That's just how long this particular concept and term and purpose has been around for. And of course, it's a reference to opposite Judas. In conservation efforts, more modern times as well, Judas goats can get fitted with radio transmitter, and they're used to locate and track feral goat herds that are destructive to the environment. But again, the purpose is the same. It's an animal from among the flock. It's the same species, same type, but it's got a different perspective.
Yeah.
The herd has one objective. This particular creature is trained by the ops to lead the herd against what is in their own best interest.
Yeah.
Your Joy Reeds, your Boule Bird Martins, they are Judas goats. They may look like you. They may talk like you. I hope you don't talk like Roland Martin. But they may look like you, talk like you, sound like you, dress like you, know the lingo and the slang and everything else. But when you look at how they actually get down and what the fruits are of their labors, it is not taking you in the direction of what is in your best interest. It's taking you away from that.
Facts. Yeah. Yeah. That's I'm gonna use that term. I mean, this is Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? So of course you got Bobby up here teaching, you know what I'm saying, and giving us new and exciting terms. I don't hear many words that I don't know the meaning of or terms, but Bobby, you never cease to amaze me. Shout out to you, brother. I like that.
Definitely.
To quote Jason Black, look it
up.
Yeah.
Great segue to show you guys the importance of our topic for tonight. As you guys can see, it's very important for us to know true history. And we have so many things that we don't get credit for, that we have basically created the world. And that's what I kind of alluded on the flyer, knowing the importance of knowing true Black history and the people who created the world. So with that being said, let's start off with a goat. A real goat.
Okay.
All right. No disrespect.
What you got?
But to me, this is one of the most pioneer goats when you talk about creating a world and a world basically being lost without this phenomenal Black woman.
Yeah.
Think about it, man. Like how powerful this is. Like it wouldn't be no Ubers. People would be lost out here because guess what? You would have to get on the back. You would have to stop your vehicle, get on the back, pull out the map, circle the map to bring your customer to where they gotta go. Yeah. Instead, you're just plugging in, plug and go, plug and go. You plug in the address and you go. This is the woman that created that. Yeah. Phenomenal Black woman. So definitely, we gotta definitely give it up to Dr. Gladys West. Was an African-American mathematician who helped develop the global positioning system, GPS. Her work on satellite geo-guidance model was a key part of GPS. All right. So when you look at the Gladys, that's a woman that's going to be on this wall. When I get done, she is definitely going to be on my wall with a few others, because without them, man, you're talking about a whole world that would be chaotic and a mess right now. She made life easy.
She literally brought us to the future. Because I want you to think about it. It's not, we think in commercial in terms of what you and I do. trying to map our routes to work in the morning or going on a trip or a vacation. That's cool. But this is GPS technology.
Crazy.
There isn't anything on this planet that is not based on that. Without GPS technology, you don't have proper logistics. Think of Amazon and FedEx and delivery models, the United States Postal Service mapping out routes that you're taking to deliver mailing packages. Without GPS technology, all that's going to take a grip.
Yeah.
Talk about traveling internationally, navigating waterways. Talk about what governments are able to access for laying out roads and different sorts of transportation, highways and lanes and avenues. You talk about military application, the ability to steer vehicles, fighter planes, naval ships, and all those different things, whatever. You don't have any of that. Rescue missions. You don't have any of these different things that require being able to know where you're going and not have to plot an old school Randy McNally and marking on here and using a compass and orienteering and finding where you're going, whatever.
Yeah,
exactly.
Still very important skills to have because, technology can go down, but the relative ease of how this all works. And we can do this now because there's been enough time that this has been out there where it's become commonplace, just like cell phones overtook house phones. If you want to understand how mission critical the GPS is on a personal level, here's a fun way that you spend an afternoon. You can take a weekend, and if you want to go spend some time out and about nature with your family, whatever, this is a great activity for the family. Go to your store, see if you can get you one of those old school Randy McNally maps of the area. Use that map and go ahead and set up a little hike for the family. Do about a 1 mile or a 5 mile hike. It doesn't have to be too crazy. Using only a compass and a map, go ahead and chart your course, plan a route that you're going to take, follow it along the way, make sure that you're on track, and see how well you're able to stick to that. And then at the end of the day, no matter how successful or much of a failure it is, pause and reflect on the fact that before we had GPS technology, this is what everybody had to do. You want to take a road trip to navigate. You had to pull out this paper. You had to find out what's the best route. You didn't have any traffic updates. You didn't know if there were any cops, any checkpoints or anything of that nature, objects on the road. None of that stuff that we can do now. Whatever you encountered, you encountered. It was word of mouth. You had to have CB radios to find out what the deal is up ahead in certain paths, whatever. That's how people had to navigate. Compare the two, and thank your lucky stars that we don't still have to get around like this. If you have to do it, cool, but the importance of this invention, definitely one of the most pivotal inventions of the 20th century, 21st century, bar none. Top two easily.
Exactly. And then to pivot on that, to go into another goat y'all don't know about, right? Boom. Los Angeles pays tribute to the forgotten African-American inventor, Willie Techman Jenkins, pioneer of the drone system, right? So to the tribute of the forgotten inventor, the city of Los Angeles commemorate the legacy of Willie Techman Jenkins, an African-American inventor who pioneered the drone technology in 1982. Despite his groundbreaking contributions, Jenkins' achievements were buried by the weight of systemic racism that plagued the area, leaving his name and invention obscured from history. Born and raised in the vibrant streets of Los Angeles, Jenkins possessed an curiosity of technology from a young age. When the ingenuity and the determination, he tirelessly worked towards his vision of creating unmanned aerial vehicles that would revolutionize various industries. Jenkins' breakthrough came in 1982 when he unveiled the very first working drone, marking a significant milestone in aviation history. His invention promised unprecedented opportunities in surveillance, aerial photography, and even humanitarian aid. However, amidst the backdrop of the racial prejudice pervasive in United States, Jenkins faced countless barriers in gaining recognition of his pioneering work. Despite his groundbreaking achievement, Jenkins encountered hostility and discrimination from predominantly white-dominated tech industry. Systemic racism barred him from obtaining patents and investments of opportunity critical for widespread adoption of the technology. As a result, his invention remained largely unrecognized, shadowed by the achievements of his white counterparts. Today, Los Angeles stands as a testimony to the resilience and the preservance of individuals like Willie Techman Jenkins, whose contributions transcend the limitations imposed by society. The city honors Jenkins' legacy not only as a visionary inventor, but also as a symbol of hope, inspiration for future generations. In a ceremony held in Los Angeles City Hall, community leaders, activists, and residents gathered to pay tribute to Jenkins' legacy. Man, I did not know about Mr. Willie Techman Jenkins. Shout out to that great man. And to think about it, this is 1982. So when they talk about reparations, we still having racism back then. So it's like, this is why reparations is needed. Do you know how many companies, the white dominant society that patent his technology and is making millions and billions off of it? That's crazy. And his family has been left out, probably is going nickel and diamond. Who knows what his family is, but I know they're not rich. And they could have been set for life, generational wealth, been blown away by racism and locked up. And this is what we are talking about, and the importance of why we need to start building our own and start funding our own and putting money behind our own, so that way we don't have to depend on this the dominant society and get what we need to be getting. I'll land my plane on that if you guys want to add on.
Really,
I know you got a lot of them. So.
Yeah,
Willie Techman Jenkins is supposed to be the prototype for Elon Musk.
Yeah,
he's supposed to be Elon Musk.
Yeah,
there's absolutely no reason. And see, the thing about it is this: now, businesses are one thing, but inventions are a completely different thing. Business calls to have a top level business like your Netflix or your Blockbuster or your Microsoft or whatever, or not in the tech field, but just a regular business. A lot of that is luck. A lot of entrepreneurship is luck. You can be prepared as you want to. You can have all kinds of ideas, but a lot of business really just depends on timing. There are some people that had certain business ideas and they just didn't pop off because the market wasn't ready or they didn't take a proper hold. And then somebody else 20 years later dropped the same thing. And because time's a little different, it takes off. And they weren't the first person. They're just the person that was able to break it out there. Inventions, on the other hand, are completely different. You can be an entrepreneur that's launched 12, 15, 20 businesses and only one of them will ever be successful. But if you're an inventor and you're able to produce, you're as big as you're big. You just need one invention to hit, and everything you do afterwards is going to take off because it's like proof of concept. Once you've shown that, oh, okay, I can do this, now other people are willing to take you seriously. They know your name, so you come along with another invention, even if it isn't as big as the first one, it's still going to hit because you have that name brand recognition. That's how you can have Elon Musk out here with his Teslas, but now they're looking to expanding into other areas and other avenues.
Yeah,
because he's a businessman, but his inventions are based on technology that at least has his name on it. Whether he created or not is up for debate, but at least his name is on the patents, which matters. So if Willie Techman was able to come up with a concept of drone technology and aviation, if he was getting the proper funding like he's supposed to because the technology industry glommed onto him, think about what other offshoots of technology could have been created just based on that drone technology. What other genius ideas that he had that could have taken off? Look at Leonardo da Vinci and all the different inventions and schematics that we have now. We saw how creative he was. There's probably a whole museum of blueprints and schematics that Techman probably has under his wing right now that we'll never hear about.
Exactly. Definitely.
That's crazy.
Well said. Well put together.
I'll just say this. It's supposed to go like that unless you're black.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. So we got other inventions that we have here. As you guys can see, there's so many inventions there. Multiple people have done inventions.
Crazy.
And I'm not going to list all of that because I got a whole bunch here. that I'm gonna show you. So your doable hairbrush, made by Lydia Newman. She used her expertise as a hairdresser to rethink an everyday style and tool. So ladies out there, the doable hairbrush, thank this lady right here for creating that. All right. We got our conditioner for black hair. You know, that goes out to Madam C.J. Walker and her phenomenal ways. And she made millions of dollars, self-made millionaire, and created hair products for black women. You know what I'm saying? That was very much needed. Our next one is the dry scurrier. Thomas Jenkins revolutionized the way we keep our clothes clean and refreshed. In 1821, the inventor and civil rights activist became the first black person in the United States to be granted a patent for his innovative way of dry cleaning clothes. So shout out to Thomas L. Jenkins. So everybody that goes to dry cleaning, that's who you need to recognize and give props to. The clothes dryer goes to George T. Sampson in 1892. The Ohio inventor revolutionized the way people dry clothes with his automatic clothes dryer. So if you out there, for all y'all that wash clothes and all the clothesline back in the day when you saw your mom on the clothesline, thank this man for making sure that we didn't have to go out there and have our funky drawers up in the air for our neighbors to see. A black man created the dryer for that. So thank this man and everything he have done. Iron board. All right. That goes out to Sarah Boone, you know, dressmaker Sarah Boone, Wild the World, when she created an innovative design that made it easy to press the sleeves and bodies of ladies' garments. So shout out to her for creating the iron board. The curling iron goes to Theodora Stevens. This phenomenal woman was granted the patent for it in 1980, groundbreaking beauty tool that would continue to use in the 21st century. A lot of y'all got burnt by it because your mom was trying to do it and y'all tenderheaded and kept moving. Shout out to this lady for making sure that y'all hair was straight. All right. When you go to sanitary belt, goes to Mary Keener. Invention of sanitary belt, a product designed to prevent the leakage of menstrual blood on clothing and change the lives of women forever. So shout out to her for doing that. Straightening comb, all right, that goes to Walter Simmons. In 1920, Simmons changed the beauty world with the invention of straightening comb, a heated tool that successfully removed the kinks from the hair. So shout out to her for doing her thing in 1920s, all right? Lionel George Johnson was also a thinker in childhood, born in October 6, 1949. And he was the inventor of, what he invented? The Super Soaker. All right, so here we go. This is Lionel Johnson. He was the one who invented Super Soaker. When I was growing up, that was one of the biggest toys that we would run around as grown. We was damn near teenagers and adults. That was it. Having Super Soaker fights at the local beaches and stuff like that.
To this day.
Yes.
Reunion or a picnic on the beach or whatever. That brother had to fight like hell to get any sort of recognition for that.
Yes, definitely.
They put that brother through the ringer.
Exactly. Shout out to him for finally getting that done. Lewis Latimer. A lot of y'all don't teach our children about this. Lewis Latimer. Lewis Latimer is the real guy who's behind the electricity and everything like that, not Thomas Edison who took the credit for it. But this guy invented a lot of things going on. You know, Lewis Latimer, December 11, 1928, into a large family of 4 children. And this man literally built the light system in Europe. And Thomas Edison took the credit for it. He also, his most notable inventions are carbon filament light bulbs that you guys use, the evaporative air conditioner, and his improved toilet system for railroad cars. All right. So definitely, man, gotta give a shout out to Latimer. And a lot of y'all who have children, please put y'all children up on these inventors and let them know what was going on with them. The coin machine, y'all remember the coin box? All right. So we had the coin machine. All right. So this is the brother that invented the coin machine. All right. So James A. Brewer invented the coin machine. And that was super dope for him to do. And he did that back in the 80s. So shout out to that brother, because you know, if you played arcade or you just need change for, you know, laundry and things like that, he was the one who was able to get that done for you. You know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out to James World for that. Leonard C. Bailey, inventor of the folding bed. A lot of y'all see those, the folding chairs. You use them outside on beaches and things like that. When you're laying out by the beach, think of Leonard Bailey and thank him for that. When you go, Mark Augusto is invented a coin and token organizer. Shout out to him for doing that. James Allen put together a remote control apparatus designed for radio receiving sets. James B. Allen developed a clothesline support. Modern day clothesline support is often adjustable and keep lines secured to prevent sagging and dripping. So when you see your clothes sitting up nice, your pants and everything like that, shout out to this brother for creating the lining that keeps our pants up. Because when you look at the early 1900s, their pants was very loose and very saggy. So when they had the belt, it probably looked like a potato sack wrapped around their body because there was no lining in it to keep it straight in a supportive way like the jeans we have today. So shout out to James B. Allen for that. Charles Allen created the self-leveling table. This allows for table stability and prevents wobbling. So when you're out there playing cards and dominoes and your table not wobbling, thank Charles Allen for that. Ralph Alexander, the method of planting, allowing each hill of 2 or 3 or 4 seeds to be in the same distance. This cultivate the rows of various directions. Also kept a field weedless. So when you look at talking about farmers and everything like that, and you see all these Hispanics out there and the whites that are out here farming, and they're farming and you see plows and different rows, that was a black man who created that. So even up here in Tampa, there was a guy who showed me they have a lot of strawberry patches, and all you see is countless amount of rows, perfectly even. Now that I found this information out, I can thank a black man for creating that and making life a lot easier for the farmers as well.
Yeah.
All right. Nathaniel Alexander created the first folding chair for the use in churches, schools, and group gatherings. When they beat those races up there by the river, they use a folding chair, and Nathaniel Alexander got worldwide recognition for that. People didn't know that, but you know, it's funny how your name come out and be a legacy in a situation you didn't think it was going to be a legacy in. So shout out for Nathaniel Alexander for the folding chair. James Adams allowed for airplane propeller means to create opportunity for blades to rotate parallel to the airflow in order to lessen a possible drag if an engine failure were to occur. So when you talk about aviation, and you know, you always hear, like in movies, you see, hey, the engine went out, and then you see in the movie that they're playing, pretty much the pilot is gliding it to safety. That's because of James Adams. He was able to innovate that so that if the engine went out, that the pilot could still navigate in a safe landing type of way. So shout out to James Adams for that. We have Osborne Dorsey, and he created his invention, took all humans over the world one step with latches and ropes to open and shut doors. So when you look at the latches and the bolts that open and shut doors, this black man right here created that. Shout out to him for doing that. All right. The next one we have here is Lloyd P. Ray, an African-American inventor who was born in 1860. And his invention, anyone cleaning a room or hall simply sweep dirt or trash out the door into a paper, or with their hands getting it dirty in the process. He was the one who invented the dustpan. So this is Lloyd P. Ray, the dustpan man, right? So he invented the dustpan. So when you clean in your house and you were able to clean it without getting your hands dirty or cutting 2 cardboards like we did in Jamaica or in the diaspora, that's what we do because a lot of us didn't really have money. He was the one that created the dustpan. So when you look at the dustpan, think of the black man, Mr. Ray, for doing that. All right, and that's his invention and his patent right there, showing you the diagram of the dustpan. This next person is Dr. Patricia Bath, And this woman is very, very iconic. She was, they call her a superwoman, right? Because she had countless medical records and attained positions that was almost impossible for a Black woman. I think, and she was the one who created, can't remember exactly what it was that it was something first Black woman. I think it might be in the second one. Hold on. She had her groundbreaking medical device transformed the field of so restoring the sight to millions of individuals. So she had the laser probe, huh?
Fixing cataracts.
Yes, fixing cataracts. So she was super dope with doing that. So when you have these laser surgeries that's going on now, because I know a lot of people, I even seen that on the reality show where people are going to get their eyes fixed from the cataracts. This is the lady that's responsible for the technology in order to fix your eyesight. So shout out to this Black woman for doing what she needed to do. Philip Downing, he's the guy who invented the mailbox. So when you didn't have to go to the postal, you couldn't make it to the postal office, you could just drive up to the U.S. post box and dump your mail in, and then the mail people come from where they are, go to the post box, pick up your mail, and take it to the destination that you need that mail to get to. He was the one who invented that. You know, shout out to Philip B. Downing for doing that. We have Richard Spikes. Richard Spikes had invented, I think he was a barber. So he invented the apparatus that people use to cut hair. So he was super dope with automatic directional signal. He also did that as well. So when you look at your automobile and you turning left and you turning right, he was also responsible for that. He also had the automatic gear shift device. He was responsible for that as well. All right. So when you look at everything in that perspective, give this man credit for what he has done, man. This man is an innovator himself. And we already talked about this phenomenal. Did we talk about this phenomenal woman? Yeah. No. Okay. So this phenomenal woman, most people, I think you guys might know who she is. For the ones that don't, she's the one, if you have a security system at your house, she was responsible for it. Her and her husband, he was a handyman, and she was a nurse, and you know, he had taught her things like that. And I think what happened was that I think she learned from him, but she got the recognition because of I forgot the situation what it was, but basically it was him and her husband that invented the security system. So when you see anybody, or you know anybody, or you're using it yourself, that security system, this woman right here is responsible with her husband for keeping your house safe. All right. TJ Marshall, the fire extinguisher sprinkler system, he was the one who invented that. This is the Black man right here. As you guys know, he also was the one who invented the mailbox as well. So he also did that, and he did the fire extinguisher system. So when you look at the schools and the buildings, a lot of them didn't burn down because he installed that system. He was the one who created that system. So when a fire go out, it automatically lights off the sprinkler system that will basically eliminate the fire. So shout out to him for doing that, keeping our buildings safe. Here you have the pencil sharpener. So John Lee Love, he is the one responsible for the pencil sharpener. So every time you have to take a test or anything like that, or you have to buy pencils for your children, this is the man who was responsible for making it easy, instead of you using a knife to basically sharpen that pencil for your children or for yourself. He made a device that was very easy for you to just put the pencil in and sharpen it right then and there. And that was a Black man that created that. Shout out to him for doing that.
Okay.
All right. So Henry Blair. Henry Blair is basically he is his railroad invention, which was if the alarm, you guys see the arms of the railroads go up and down. So he was the one that invented the device on the railroad track that when the train hits a certain point, it automatically sends a signal, an alarm down the road to let you know that the trains are coming. and he is the one that's responsible for that. So it's a railroad alarm system that signifies, that lets you know that what he was bringing forth was basically he was basically letting the world know that at a certain point that the train was coming. He's responsible for that. You guys want to discuss some of the things that we went while I upload some more stuff real quick?
No, I think we got quite a bit there.
Okay.
Wow. I was not aware, that, and I studied Black history, in depth. And I wasn't even aware that, so many Black people created so much. And, I just want to summarize, and say that as a people, we've proven time and again that we are great. I don't know why we continue to gravitate to mediocrity. You understand what I'm saying? When you look at all that beautiful history that all these brothers and sisters have created, you understand what I'm saying? Bruh, I just don't understand what the problem is, because one of the purposes of history is so that you understand yourself. You understand what you are capable of. You also want to understand, what mistakes you've made, so you know what not to repeat, and so forth and so on. But it's also to inform you of, what you have done in the past and where you come from and what you are capable of. That's what informs those things. So that being said, it's very puzzling to me why we continue to gravitate, to a lot of the mediocrity out here. We continue to fall for a lot of the trickery, that white supremacist society puts out there for us to indulge in. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't know why more of us aren't more inspired to be inventors. Why more of us aren't inspired to, do more things in a collegiate capacity, do more things in a trade capacity, to kind of move the ball forward, versus all those things that we see that those amazing ancestors have already done. They've already kind of laid the foundation for us and let us know what we're capable of, and unfortunately, a lot of what we do is still very degenerate. We really, really have a very strong, fervent, laser focus on fuck shit. And I'm just giving it to you raw, dog. Like, this is, I see this all the time. I talk to brothers and sisters everywhere. And as much as, that was quite a bit that you gave us there. And, I got a text, oh, how much has any of y'all got? They're like, okay, maybe it was quite a bit. Okay. I told them, I told them we're going to get to the end, but this is important because we haven't done this all month, basically. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand, maybe some people, them losing a little focus or whatever. However, when you see Kendra G or Tasha K or any of these other people talking this bullshit out here that they like to talk, you understand what I'm saying? I seldom see that same energy. You understand what I'm saying? So we just gonna call it what it is now, and you can, I don't mean to pick on Kendra and Tasha, but I mean, those are two of the main ones that came to mind, but anybody who's talking bullshit, basically, you got a lot of these shows out here, Derek Jackson, those women that follow him, they never get bored of him talking his dumb shit. You understand what I'm saying? You got hell, the people who watch The Breakfast Club while we're at it. You understand what I'm saying? Anybody who watches Ricky Smiley's morning show, I don't know who's watching that bullshit or why. DL Hughley, all these people who just ramble on and on about nothing. You understand what I'm saying? I never hear anybody growing weary of what it is that they're saying, and so I'm just saying, I empathize with you a little bit. That was a little long. Okay, fine. However, let's keep that same energy, because I'm going to put it out there. When somebody's talking bullshit, people are more than happy to sit up forever and a day to indulge them in whatever messy shit they're discussing,
It's
especially
real.
if you're tearing down another black person.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's raw.
So let's tighten up a little bit on that. You know what I'm saying? Wonderful brothers and sisters that you gave us. I think that, you know, my takeaway from it, I feel very inspired, you know, because I'm writing a book. It's very hard because I'm doing a million other things at the same time. But I'm like, man, I need to go ahead and finish that book. That was the first thing I thought about when you were going through that list.
Mhm.
You know, because I want to make my own Black history.
Yeah.
So I want to send that challenge out there to those of you that are listening. You know, again, I always say this, but I really wanted to sink in this time, man. Don't just listen to what we say.
Mhm.
Take these things as action items. Go out there and act on it. Create your own Black history, because there's nothing stopping you from doing anything as magnificent or more magnificent than what many of those brothers and sisters did, especially the sister who invented the damn GPS and the other one that invented the home security system. God damn.
Mm.
Coming from the 80s, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Who's thinking like that? You know what I'm saying? That is powerful. So
Yeah.
shout out to you for the list, homie. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And like you say, we get into ignorant stuff, right? And I want to show some videos right quick, because it's crazy when we, you know, even when I saw with the Kendrick Lamar, like, people didn't embrace what he was saying because we wanted to be entertained more than we wanted to be educated. And that's because we have more of a balance. We have more of an unbalance of being entertained overall, and the propaganda pushing us more towards that entertainment versus going out here learning stuff and getting the whole tangible. Even when I talked about the whole thing with TikTok, the TikTok in China is different from the TikTok here. The TikTok here is basically promoting the algorithm of degenerate shit and putting all the low-key shit that is out here positive and getting you onto the next level. They're burying that stuff. But in China, it's the opposite. They promote all the good stuff, and they basically get the algorithm to push the degenerate stuff in there, because they're promoting good things towards their people, and they don't want their people to get into that negative bull crap. And it's the opposite here. And I say that because we have our children are being into that too. So let me just play these videos and I'll let you go.
She was going crazy when she was jumping on the dick. You want to lay down so I can jump on your dick? When I hit her from the back, what'd she do? Pee on herself?
So here's another one.
Like, make that make sense. And make the sense make that. Because it don't make none.
So she punched the crap out of the child.
Like, make that make sense.
She got a bonnet on.
And make the sense make that. Because it don't make none.
And she punched the child and runs away like coward shit, right? So we see the degenerate stuff like that. And those are the things that get 1 million likes, 1 million follows, and reshares. But something
Easily,
like this,
without trying.
yes, and something like this gets buried, right? They don't play this type of videos. They don't promote this. This is what gets buried.
Wow. Wait, how old are you again?
4 years old.
And you're 4? Wait a minute. Can you tell me what's 5 times 5?
25.
Can you tell me what's
7 times 9?
7 times 9?
63.
Can you tell me what?
Can you tell her how you get the answer?
How? How do you get the answers?
7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63.
Oh my gosh.
What kind of table? What kind of table do you know?
I know my periodic table.
You do?
You know your periodic table?
Wow. So what's
You know
that?
my tutor.
Solid, liquid, and gas.
So break it down. What's a solid?
So solid is something that's hard.
Like what?
Like that's hard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And the cup is hard.
Uh-huh.
That's hard.
What about liquid?
Liquid is something that's wet.
Like what?
Wow.
Something that's wet.
Like what?
Water's wet, juice is wet, perfume's wet because when you spray the perfume, it becomes gas, but you can't see the perfume. You can only smell the perfume.
Okay.
I'm done. Why it's invisible.
Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What's the First Amendment?
The First Amendment, freedom of speech.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. I'm so proud of you. And sorry, I'm sorry, what did you say you had?
What's your condition?
Your
My
condition?
condition is Chiari malformation.
Okay.
Where's your brain?
In my spinal canal.
What part of the brain is in the spinal canal?
She said her cerebellum is in her spine. Man, this girl was a flat out genius.
Wow. Wow. All right. Yeah, she just made Black history. Blows my mind. I love it.
Let me just say this as an educator. Because I didn't do I never taught as low as kindergarten realms. I've substituted on multiple occasions for that grade level, but the bulk of who I worked with was elementary level and then middle school level. What I mean, everything just beat the crap out of me towards the end. But initially, I had to hold on for a second because before I could even hear what she was saying, it was how she was saying what she was saying.
Yeah, I agree.
She does, and this isn't. I would hope no one would take it this way, but this isn't a knock on any other child that's smart out there. But when they talk about when people, use that term, this child's been here before. Yeah. This is probably the most realist example of that. The way she speaks is not like that of a 4-year-old.
Thanks.
If you listen to other 4-year-olds, and they can be bright as a whip, but when they talk and you ask them questions, the way they converse is very. It's age appropriate.
Yeah.
It's not like 4-year-old. Well, I can do 7 times 7 because my mommy goes over that and we do that free 60 free 65. And again, not knocking that.
Right.
That's how children typically start, not knocking that. They're babies, for God's sake. They're learning.
Yeah.
She speaks like she's an intelligent 10 or 11-year-old.
Yeah, she does.
The intonation, the pronunciation of the words, the right word placement, the way she freaking thinks, the example she's pulling. Liquids are wet, like water and juice. Okay, yeah, kids know about water and juice. Or like perfume. The hell you did that connection for? Wait a minute. But but it comes out as a gas because you can't see, but you can smell it.
She's sharp. She's real.
What sharp. Bro? No, that is a different level of genius.
Yeah.
And if you look and if you do research, you find out there's different there's probably, I think, about maybe they currently recognizing knowledge about 10 different types of intelligence. There's social intelligence, there's linguistic intelligence, there's physical intelligence, all these different kind of things. This child is firing at a high level on multiple areas of intelligence. I don't want to sidetrack what we're doing too much, but I'm just, because I literally, it's been a minute since I've really been punched in the gut like that. That really, you could have probably hit me in my jaw. It wasn't going to rock me as much as that did right there. Yeah. I just sincerely pray, I pray to Almighty God that baby's talents and genius is properly recognized and nurtured. I pray right now, I'm dead serious, I pray to God that right now that anyone and anything that gravitates towards her, that means to take her off her path, shut that crap down immediately. Please put people in her path that are going to launch her towards greatness and protect her and fully allow her to realize her potential. Do not allow her to be dragged down into the BS garbage that we've seen. Please, God Almighty, please. We need her. She has the potential to do so much great things for the world. Please, God, please.
Yeah.
Not her.
Yeah.
Not her, damn it, please. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's whoo.
I get you, man. It's needed, you know, and when you see it, you're taken aback by it, because if we keeping it a buck, you got grown-ups that don't know some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Not at that level.
I'm gonna just tell you, like,
not to explain, to understand it.
Nah, you got some grown-ups that don't know what the First Amendment is. Facts. I'm telling you what I know.
And that's another thing. What 4-year-old child have you ever heard of? Even if they can do the multiplication table and everything. What child can contemplate social studies like that, social sciences like that?
Crazy. I love
it. Any adult that is able to work with her, whether it's in a daycare capacity, whether it's an educator that they're in a classroom with her, any child, any adult that is able to work with that girl should consider that an honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not doing that child a favor. That child is doing you a favor. It is a blessing to be in her presence.
Yeah.
You will easily be able to be one of the ones that decades from now can say, well, you know, I had her in my class, or I went over this with her. It is an honor for you to be in that child's presence.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And, you know, I would like to encourage some of our educators out there, you know, when you see a child like that, go the extra mile with them. Pull them close. You know, keep them close, because what happens, especially with women, with females, especially with female children, what happens is life and peer pressure and friends and, you know, social circles and so forth and so on. And what we're seeing repeatedly all the time is that among females in particular, intelligence is not valued. You understand? And that's what I have a problem with. This is why I bang so hard on the sexy reds, why I bang so hard on the Glorillas and the Lottos and the hell, we don't even have to just restrict it to rappers, the Beyoncés, always running around half naked. I mean, I like Beyonce's music or whatever the case may be, but you know, I had a serious problem with her for a minute. Is always running around half naked and, you know, letting her husband call her the baddest bitch in the game. Yeah, come on, bro. Like, and I'm calling Hov out for that too. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're not showing the value that a sister like Beyonce really has. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's what I have a problem with. And I mean, no disrespect to, you know, any of those individuals. I'm making a larger point. And if you took it as disrespect, then fuck you. I don't care. But I'm saying I'm making a larger point that's much more important. You did.
That part.
We have to start acknowledging women and appreciating women, particularly Black women, for all that they are capable of and contribute. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? You don't let nobody just reduce you to titties and ass, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I'm calling out women when I say that. The women who are doing it and the women who are supporting them. The Sukihanas of the world and her 500,000 fans. The fuck is wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, facts. We have little girls out here like that. The child is a savant. You dig? And like, yo, she's going to go far, provided she's able to stay focused and channel, you know, her intelligence and her wisdom. Seems like she's been here before, like you said. Channel that into something constructive before some of these evil ass bitches get hold of her. And I don't use the term bitch lightly. You understand what I'm saying? I mean it when I say it. There are women and there are bitches. You understand what I'm saying? And I worry about some of these evil ass bitches getting hold of little girls like that and turning them into somebody like them, because I've seen it before.
The jealousy, the envy.
Exactly. I don't want nobody bringing that girl down. I don't want no brothers doing it either. You know what I'm saying? Same thing happens to brothers, but since we're talking about a female here, You know, I want to put that out there. Like, sisters are so powerful. So many sisters are so powerful, and they do so much. You dig?
Mhm.
I want to see more people acknowledge sisters for what they can do outside of pop out some titties and shake their ass. You know what I'm saying? And there's a place and time for that. And it's not on goddamn Instagram and TikTok all day. You understand? It should be in the privacy of your own home if you're going to do that type of shit, if you keep it up. But that's a whole other show. I'm just saying, like, I don't want nobody to corrupt this little girl. She's special. She's amazing. And shout out to her and her family, because I'm sure they're doing their best to try to, you know, hone her knowledge and do something with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Really quick to tack on to that. 2 examples of that come to mind, and I'm only mentioning this because one of them actually just came to my attention. It was either early today or last night. There was I'm trying to remember how I was just aimlessly scrolling through IG, and I heard some things that the sister was saying. She's a licensed therapist. Very intelligent woman. I think she has her PhD. She's not even she didn't stop at just being having a counselor's license, because you can practice, you can be a therapist and not be a PhD. You just won't have your own practice or have that acclaim. You'll have to do more to reach a level, but you can still be a licensed therapist without reaching the doctoral level. But she's a full-fledged PhD therapist. Now, listening to some of her talking points on some things, and very intelligent, very interesting. I was about to hit it with a follow, like, you know what? It's good to hear sisters intelligent, fully, you know, with the accolades on the right side of these issues that she was speaking about.
Yeah.
And then I saw something that she had said. I was like, provoked me to take a deeper look. And I took a look, and sure enough, I wasn't sure if I saw or understood what I was seeing correctly, and I did. In addition to all this, has a whole bunch of accolades, very intelligent woman, very bright, great credentials. She's also a Playboy model. And I'm like,
Jesus.
And I mean no disrespect to this sister. I know people take it that way. I don't care. I said what I said, and I said, if I mean to offend, I will have no problem doing that.
Stand on it. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
But talk about putting sugar on shit.
Facts.
Rather putting shit on sugar.
Facts, man. Ladies, you're playing yourself.
You have all this. You're here. And yet somehow you feel the need to still wallow in the muck and the mire. Why? Why was it not enough for you to just be this intelligent, academically savvy sister with a great pulse on relevancy and topics and mindset, understanding psychology and applicate? Why was that not enough? Why did you have to go ahead on top of that and endeavor to also be a Playboy model? It's not to say that you're not capable of it. Of course you're capable of it. To be honest, it's not really an achievement to even be a Playboy model like that. Now, does everyone get picked for it? No. But if you look halfway attractive, that's the battle right there. It's just about what place you come in. But it's a lot more prestigious and a lot more of a notch in your belt to say, I am this PhD doctoral candidate who doesn't just have letters that I paid for, but all you have to do is listen to me, and it's clear as day that I'm deserving and weighty of these honors. Why was that not enough?
Exactly.
And then that's one example. And the other example is, I can't remember who it is, but there was a sister who went viral and she became well known because she's 16 years old, I believe. And I believe she's already graduated high school. She was playing college courses. But she became a teen mother. She got knocked up. So here you are with all this promise, bright future ahead of you. And before you reach your 18th birthday, instead of focusing on the future, everything else, now you have to worry about pregnancy.
Yeah, I talked to the mother.
And again, not a knock on the sister, but it's like, you got to watch. It's already hard enough for young women to navigate these pressures alone. But when you're a bright star everybody's gunning for you.
Yeah.
We have to do a better job, like you said, Major, of nurturing these talents and safeguarding them.
Mm-hmm.
Not overdoing it, because that's another issue you have to worry about, because you have to have balance. You can have fun, especially as a child. Your childhood is a thing, but there needs to be a properly guided balance where you have the outlets. You're allowed to be a child. You're allowed to engage with your peers and everything else, but you still have the mission before you.
Mm-hmm.
You still have the options ahead of you, and you're steered from these negative inroads. Becoming a teen mother isn't supposed to be part of your growing up experience. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not part of the fact. Going to prom, yes. Maybe having a boyfriend, yes. Getting manicures and maybe getting a makeover, go to spa with your mom or your aunts, whatever, yes. Having slumber parties, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering about how you're going to take care of a new baby, no.
Yeah.
So we have to do a proper job of taking on, and this is why the village is so important.
Yes, it is.
This is why it's so pivotal. But go ahead.
Yeah. So you're correct on that. I talked to the mother about that. The mother, I was trying to get on the show when she had made that incredible leap from 9th grade to finishing senior year in 1 year.
Wow.
And it's actually two friends, and the other one kind of got mad at the other one because the other one had did it before this one did, but she got the public recognition, and then her daughter fell into that.
What was that?
So yeah, that scenario. So yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can reach back out to her. I can't remember her name, but I'm gonna go back through my inbox messages and see if we could get her on the show. Real quick, I know we're running out of time, so I need you fellas to answer this. I'm gonna put both of these together real quick because they're pretty much on the same. I tried to keep it basically on the same premise of the show. So we get into our question of the day, right? So our question of the day is, how important is it to fight? Is it for Black folks to fight against white supremacy while building infrastructure? All right, and then I also want to just, because they're both tied in, and our next segment would be requesting advice. I need help. So I'm a Black woman that is in corporate America, and I've been telling people about the unjust practices of my company and warning people about what's going on. Recently, I was on a company trip. While I was staying at a hotel, someone tried to come in my room. I believe it was my coworkers trying to unalive me and failed because I deadbolted the lock. There was also residue on my door handle that left my arm slightly numb. I called the police and nothing was really done. What should I do? I just want to show you guys, this is a Black woman poisoned at Staybridge Suites Hotel. Staff refused to investigate. I left my hotel, pulled the door shut. After a few minutes, I noticed numbing feeling in my arm, which started to creep up my spine. Someone put some sort of drug on my doorknob. What happened in Staybridge in Plano, Texas? That's here, you know what I'm saying, in the United States. Let me go ahead and show you guys the video real quick, and then we could just all tie this all in, because it's pretty much on the same plateau and basis. All right, so here we go with the video.
Who can confirm this, but I had the deadbolt on my door yesterday, and someone tried to get into my room.
She's recording. Are you recording?
Yeah.
Okay, I would prefer not to be recorded. We can record it. We can have
Okay, someone tried to get into my room. Okay, so who was it?
If you really feel that, you can definitely contact the police, man. We work with the police after that.
I'm asking you who tried to get into my room. Why wouldn't you answer that? Okay, you guys clearly know what's going on in this hotel. So again, you clearly do know. That's why you're being so defensive. You do know. That's why you're being so defensive. Because someone emitted toxic fumes and then someone tried to get into my room. So clearly that's.
All right, so as you notice, they're Asian and Hispanic. They look like Asian and Hispanic women. Trying to, I guess, traffic this Black woman or whatever the case may be. But yeah,
Nonsense.
I just gave it
Impossible.
to you guys.
We have
Yeah.
a black and brown and a black and yellow coalition, and we also have a minority coalition. And on top of that, we're all people of color.
I
right?
see what you did.
And on top of that, we are all DEI.
Yeah.
So there's no way they could possibly be complicit in that. You know, and I'm with you when you're right, but I gotta disagree with you, man. You're a flat out wrong dog.
I see what you did
bro.
there.
You're full
I
of
see
it.
what you did there. Listen, man.
The people depend on us to give real, solid insight, man. They're not going to trust us if you're spilling nonsense like this, bro.
How about that, brother? That is terrifying. You know what I'm saying? And I need sisters to really stay on their square, to be ready at all times, because I explain this all the time. You're a target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is why, like, I don't play when it comes to my wife. You know, certain times of the house, certain times of the night, she can't leave the house. You know, you can talk all that feminist bullshit if you want to, but in this house, you know what I'm saying, that ain't what it is. And she understands that. She respects that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking to y'all, the I don't need no man neck waving females out there. You dig? It's a reason why we say a lot of things that we say to you, because men think instinctively from a perspective of protection for ourselves and for everybody else. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, like you gotta, you know, I don't even think I'd be comfortable with my woman out of town like that in a hotel and I'm not there, or, you know, one of her friends isn't there with her. Like my lady, she went out of town before, you know, on some business related shit with her, with the salon that she used to work with or whatever. And she went with a friend, you know, they took a class, you know, to learn how to do this haircut and all that old shit, but she needed to take somebody with her. You understand? Because of shit like that, you know what I mean? It's real, it's prevalent. And if they see you by yourself a little too much, yeah, they'll try you. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, unfortunately, in that type of situation, you know, there's not much you can really do besides, you know, put maybe something a little extra under the door. You know what I'm saying? I would get like one of them door wedges. So my lady, hey, when you get there, put this door wedge on that joint. You know what I'm saying? Then they have the other bolt that closes. I check to make sure that those are in the rooms. I check when I'm with her.
Yeah.
To make sure that those are in the rooms, because I don't know. I'm black. I'm a target too.
Yeah.
It just so happened I'm gangster as hell. Try me. You understand what I'm saying? But like, I'm a target too. And if they can get your ass asleep, yeah, they can do whatever the hell they want to do. They can sell your damn organs. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it's real out there. Everybody got to keep their head on a swivel. And to answer the other question, how important is fighting white supremacy while building infrastructure? It is all important. You, with every fiber in your being, 24/7, 365, you should be fighting white supremacy, period. Because that is, you know, I don't care what Roland Martin says, or what Trick Daddy says, and what all these dumb niggas say that say ain't no racism. Them niggas, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no racism, really? Especially to hear Trick Daddy say that, who's been in the prison industrial complex, where you see some of the most pronounced racism. You understand what I'm saying? Bruh, these niggas who be talking this ain't no racism shit. No, it's everywhere. And you always have to go out of your way as a black person to conduct yourself in a certain manner, whereas you're least likely to be susceptible to being victimized by systematic oppression and racism. I would say that is especially pronounced when you're trying to build infrastructure. If they see you trying to build some shit, oh, you're a target. You understand? So you got to make sure you cross all your T's, dot all your I's, have all the paperwork submitted early, pay your goddamn taxes, Wesley, goddamn it. You got to do everything right and consistently and document what you've done. Because even if you've done everything right, they're going to try to find some shit that you didn't do right.
Exactly.
You have to be on top of the game, period. You got to be on your shit. if you're a black person and you're building anything. So it's all important is the simple answer. And, you know, don't cut no corners. Make sure you document everything and do legitimate business. I cannot stress this enough. Some of my brothers and sisters out there. How many niggas then went to jail for these PPP loans? Are we going to talk about this or talk about this? Come on now. How many niggas then went to jail for these PPP loans? How long are we going to keep doing this dumb shit, bro? You know, this is not sustainable. I want us as a people to start playing the long game and doing things that are going to empower us in the long term. I understand there's a relationship between the streets and the boardroom, or the streets and the struggle. I say it like that. There's a relationship between the streets and the struggle. Some of the most thugged out dudes like Bumpy Johnson have contributed directly to the civil rights movement and other movements that have helped black people move forward. I'm not knocking that. But at some point, we got to do some inventory, folks. And we got to look at how we think and how we move and what we choose. Operative word, choose, as an endeavor to sustain life. You understand what I'm saying? In 2025, I don't understand why we still got so many dope dealers and scammers. You got other choices, niggas. I'm gonna just put it out there. You can come for me all you want. We have other choices. You understand what I'm saying? Why, you know, those things are still so saturated is beyond me, but we need to tighten up on that as men. You know what I'm saying? Why we still got so many strippers and hoes? While we're at it, now that's not us, but we interact directly with men. So it is kind of us. You know what I'm saying? With women. So it is kind of us. You know what I'm saying? We all interact. None of us exist in a vacuum. We all interact with each other. So we got to call each other out for each other's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You can't fight white supremacy if your mind is on these type of things. If your mind is on selling dope, if your mind is on tricking, if your mind is on, you're not going to be able to adequately fight white supremacy and keep yourself out of the system that is set up to victimize you if your focus is jaded. You know what I'm saying? If your focus is outside of what it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? So let's all work on that as a collective and start making more mature choices so that we can empower ourselves and be on solid footing when we're going up against the white supremacist power structure that we know is in place to tear us down. Let's not feed it. And I'll park the Chevy.
Yeah. And if you're on the scamming, like I said before, if you're on scamming and drug dealing, find somebody who's out there doing work in the community and be the financial backing for a lot of these people.
There you go.
If you look at the pioneers of who you guys follow, when you're replicating these drug dealers, those drug dealers back in the 70s and 50s were pioneers that financially supported a lot of the black business that you see up and running now.
Yes,
also, a lot of black families that are living in good homes, they got the funding that they needed to get their home from the drug dealers. So if you're going to be the financial bank and try to off balance your evilness with some kind of goodness. And I'll land my plane on that.
Yeah. Bobby, take us home.
We just spoke this month about the passing of our beloved elder, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. And I'll address the second part, about how do you fight white supremacy portion. While building infrastructure, excuse me. That's a key part of that. If you, as he said, if you do not understand racism, which is white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. When we speak about systemic white supremacy and how it affects us, it's easy to say that and get confused or not understand the gravity of what's being discussed because that's a vague concept. Oh, it affects our lives. Well, you have a lot of life going on. What do you mean life? Thank God Elder Fuller was very thorough. He expressly observed and laid out 9, and then later on he amended it to 10 areas of people activity that racism and white supremacy affects us. It affects us in economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and later on he added to that health. Those are all the different ways that white supremacy takes the fight to us. And if you think, you can think of examples of racism that's been applied that we've suffered and we've dealt with. You can think of famous cases and stories in all those different areas, all of them. That's also why the discussion and that list of all the Black inventors and the things that they invented and contributed is so important, because when you hear that list, that's like, oh man, that's just a lot of names, man. That's boring, man. Okay, Speeder would get us something else. If you have a little bit more depth and foresight, you can look at it and say, wow, that's a lot of things that we created. That's important. And I'm reminded sometimes when you start mentioning all the things we contribute, you'll have Sambos and suspected white supremacists. They'll make little digs and say, dang, Black people didn't make that. That was such and such. And it could be rightly so. Black people didn't make that. Italians made this, whatever. You all think that you made and invented everything. The irony of that is that so much of what we have contributed has been hidden, to the point where, to be honest, if you just by default assume that we made and built everything, you'd actually be right more often than you're wrong. It's a safe bet to make. Half the things that were mentioned tonight, I don't know about major, but were foreign to me. Some things that were obscure I knew about. Most of them was new information to me. Before that, I would have thought that somebody else made it. But if I would have just guessed, a Black person made that, I'd have been right. If you would ask me about, if you would have taken that list, if there was 20 things that was listed there tonight, and you mixed in 15 other things that Black people did not create, and I would have just guessed and say everything was built by Black people, and I would have get paid $1 for everything, don't you know I would have made more money than I would have lost?
Yeah.
But it's more than just accolades and notches on the belt when you think about that, because when you think about these inventions, that's wealth.
Yeah.
That's economics. One of the things we talk about today now, people talk about the average lay person is, the only time Black people get rich, the only millionaires and multimillionaires are entertainers, which includes pro athletes, because sports is entertainment. We talk about that. We talk about not only that, but the philosophy of that concept that the only way that you can make it out the hood or make it out the ghetto is to become an entertainer, become a rapper or a singer, or to be an athlete, or to sell drugs. That's it. But part of that mindset comes from the fact that when Black people were creating things that could have not only advanced society as a whole, but could have elevated our families and our communities, we were shut out. That's money left on the table for other people to inherit. So that feeds into why we only think that you can only make it out of the hood because of those things. Because when we tried to get it legitimately, we were boxed out. Dr. Claude Anderson spoke years ago about how he went to town to do a lecture, and brother picked him up from the airport. And he said, Dr. Anderson, you need to get settled so you can go ahead and get ready for the lecture. But I want to show you something really quickly. That's okay. And he said, fine. And he drove through the city. It wasn't a big city, but it was a larger metropolitan city. He drove through the Black side of the city and the white side of the city. And you could see obvious differences in terms of prosperity between the white side versus the Black side. And he's like, doctor, I ran through some of the numbers, and largely, on paper, there isn't too much of a difference between what the Black folk here make and what the white folk here make. So how is it that they're able to live so much better than us? Dr. Anderson said, well, I'll tell you, it's relatively simple. The Black folk here are living off of their incomes. But because you do not circulate the dollar within your own communities, these white people are essentially living off of 2 incomes. There's yours.
Yeah.
That's why. So when you're not generating income and when you don't have an infrastructure within to spend it in and to support, you're robbing yourself. You don't have a foothold to stand against these people. And that takes me into what the sister's experiencing. These issues with the lack of being able to build infrastructure is why there's no Black-owned hotels for her to stay in, which doesn't have to deal with that bullshit. Why there's no predominantly Black staff that are going to look after her and care for her and would assist her instead of laughing at her, mocking her, and disregarding her pleas. It's why she's working for a company or corporation where she's might be pretty successful individually at, but she's essentially a sitting duck at Target. She's surrounded by the ops. But she can't easily leave because that takes time. Where else is she going to go, number one? And is she going to be heading into another corporate environment that's relatively the same one that she left from? So no matter how pirate she is, no matter how great of a job she has or how well known she is, she's still in a box. Because racism is a team sport. That's why your whole idea of being able to stand against white supremacy as an individual doesn't work, because it's a team sport.
Yeah.
So if we don't have an infrastructure in place where we can support ourselves and sustain ourselves, you don't have a prayer. It would be like Michael Jordan or even LeBron James going one-on-one, or not one-on-one, but 1-on-5 versus the whole team. I'm not talking about LeBron and the scrub team or Michael Jordan and the scrub team. I'm talking about one person versus 5 other individuals with a full bench. You can't do it. The team has to be on point. We are hated because we're Black, but we're victimized because we're poor. You have to tip your hat to the baby hat community, because while they may also be hated because of who they are, they made sure to go ahead and be about their business and set up infrastructure and back the paper. So you might hate them, but when you try to victimize them, they'll make you pay. They make sure they have positions of power. They have economic muscle as well behind them. So you even say anything, forget act against it. You miss and say something they don't like, they can bring you to your knees and cripple you. Meanwhile, you have Black people getting assassinated with impunity by race soldiers, both working for law enforcement and working as civilians, and we can't get justice done. We can barely punish them at all. And that's why they work so hard to separate us from wealth and economics and infrastructure. If you want to know what we're supposed to be doing, look and see what they stop us from doing. They don't stop us from getting silly and doing foolishness.
Sure don't.
They stop us from drilling down and setting up infrastructure and setting up that paper. That's the one thing that they consistently stop us for and try to run interference for, because they understand that if we actually have our paper, if we're insulated, they can't touch us. And if they try, we can make them pay a hefty fine. And that's how it's supposed to be. Every time we're acted against, there's supposed to be a penalty behind it. You're supposed to either pay in blood or you're supposed to pay in dollars, and it's supposed to be hefty. And you make them pay so much to the point where they're like, you know what, we can't do it no more because it hurts too much. I cracked him in the jaw, but he shattered my arm and he broke my ribs. The payoff ain't worth it. So my heart goes out to the sister, but like you said, Major, there's not too much that she can do because everybody is out against her. She's by herself against the team. Best bet I can say is she needs to start making inroads now, making sure her resume is on point, looking for other opportunities, see if she can foot it to a better location, or even better, see if she can branch out and start her own thing. And get her networking up with other sisters and other brothers who are similarly suited like her, who can support her and can also help contribute. So that way she doesn't have to depend on the dominant society, because if you have to depend on them, you will perpetually have to be wondering when the other shoe is going to drop. And I'm not sure that's the kind of living that you want to do.
And also, I just want to add to that, because I don't think that I spoke on the solution. I'm glad you brought that back up, because it was so much to unpack there. Yes, and she needs to stop taking trips. If she can, stop taking trips with these folks, or make sure she brings somebody along with her, because I have no doubt in my mind they were trying to traffic her. That's very serious.
Really quickly, sorry to belabor the point, but because this is literally a matter of life and death. What I want to toss in on that as well, I forgot about that. And this is just for sisters, this is for anybody. I follow these precautions as well. I'm a grown ass man.
I do the same thing.
I'm a grown ass man. I'm savvy with power tools. I can get it barehanded as well too.
Yeah.
But even me, I'm not immune to that because I'm a human being. I'm flesh and blood. I bleed like anybody else, even though it might not look like it or seem that way, but I bleed like everybody else. Go on YouTube or TikTok. And I know they have flight attendants most notably doing it. But there's a whole bunch of safety travel tips and hacks that are out there that you can do, things that you can take to safeguard yourself. They advocate for doing things like getting travel locks that you can put in doors to reinforce the doors. In addition, now they have like little door stopper alarms where if anyone opens the door or comes open, an alarm can go off to notify you to buy you some time. There's hacks like they have infrared scanner that you use to detect for bugs or for cameras or what have you. Certain little portable weapons or things that you can take with you to safeguard yourself, things to look for, all kind of free game that's out there right now. But it's very important if you're a person who travels or you're looking to travel, whether it's for recreation or for career or professional wise, whatever, please make sure you look at these hacks and don't just look at it and say, oh, that's good to know. Please go out and buy these things.
Act on it.
Get them on Amazon. You can even get them on Temu or the TikTok shop. They sell these items. Please do it for your own sake because it is real out here, people. They're trafficking us. And this is the first time I've heard about them use that on door handles, but that substance they put on those doors, they've also been known for putting them on car doors as well for the same purpose. It's real out here. Please don't become the next viral story that we all have to talk about. Please take care of yourself and make sure you pass the information on to others. And again, fellas, the women may be considered sitting ducks, but our organs will do just as well. And there's not too much you can do if they catch you sleeping or they catch you otherwise intoxicated or knocked out because of some substance. And on a swivel, and as Neely Fuller has told us, remember, conduct yourself as prisoners of war. We are living behind enemy lines. Act that way, think that way, operate that way. I'm off my soapbox.
Okay, it is.
Well said. All right. Going into our last segment, crown check. All right, crown check for tonight. Might shock y'all. I don't know. I don't know if you know history. Well, we're gonna bring it to you tonight. Grace Wisher. Grace Wisher is a phenomenal woman. In the instance of Grace Wisher, a young Black girl's labor was vital in creating the image of the United States, a task that took 6 long weeks to complete. This was also an unnamed enslaved Black woman who was said to have helped stitch the banner. It is critical that we begin to recognize and discuss the work of a Black woman and the girls. Without the illumination of the impacts of labor, the history of the United States remains incomplete. Historians Dana Berry and asserted that Black girls and women like Grace have literally stitched themselves into our nation's history, but mainstream historical accounts continuously overlook their contributions. So Grace is absent from the story because of her inferior status in American society. She was poor, Black, and a girl. She had 3 strikes against her that played a role in the silence of her contributions to such an important task. Despite the absence of the Black woman and the girls in the historical records, they held the influential in establishments of the United States. Their bodies revealed upon the continuation of the institution of slavery. They were forced into the reproductive, domestic, and manual labor to advance the economic capitalist interests of white slaves owners. So basically, she was the one who basically stitched the United States flag. So if you guys, every time you salute to the flag, if you still do it, or if you just see it or recognize it, just know it's Black women, it's Black girls that actually put that together. And Grace Wisher, she was an underage, but she ended up being the major one behind the stitching of the United States flag. So shout out to Grace Wisher, and we're giving her flowers that the American Society didn't give her. So shout out to her. And that's the crown check for the night.
Extraordinary crown check. Yo, we know we ran over a little bit, y'all. It's
Black History Month. That's my fault. That's my fault. Because I did a lot. But a lot of times, the reason why I'll take that. I'll take the backlash for that is because you're not teaching your children, and a lot of y'all don't even know this information. So if it takes a little bit more for us to put that out there, so you have to do less digging, then that's what it is. So blame me for tonight for going over, because I wanted to show you guys how impactful our history is, our pioneers and our ancestors were, because we need to put that going forward, and it's a dire emergency for us to get on that road right now to start building it, because it's not going to get any better for us in the future. So we need to start now. So I'll land my plane on that.
That's what's up. Yeah, look, it's Black History Month, y'all. Y'all gonna have to give us a pass. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be back on point next week, but it's Black History Month, and we missed a week last week. So hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But roll with us, man. We gonna get you. It's for a good cause, and we going to a good place. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ant. Shout out to Bobby Drake. Good to see y'all brothers again.
Definitely.
Listen, man. You know, the importance of Black history cannot be understated. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really, really important stuff. And part of the reason why we're in the predicament that we're in is because we don't know our history, and we haven't learned the lessons from our history that we should have taken from it. So, as my last word, you know, I got to keep it short. Again, let's act on some of this. You know, people hear stuff. Oh, that sounds good. Oh, damn. Oh, keep hope alive. No, act on it, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, do something. Do something with the information. Challenge yourself. Create your own Black history. I'll park the Chevy.
Definitely. Bobby, take us out.
You know, this information, it's not meant to be trivia fodder. It's not meant for you to show up at games nights or on somebody's show and win a prize and show how everything that you know. This is not meant to be intellectual masturbation. It's meant to be digested. It is meant to empower you. It is meant to motivate you, to inform you, to direct you. It is meant to transform you. You got to make sure that we're not just, when we learn these things, we hear these things, we're not just discarding them, but we're also not just becoming intellectually obese. We have people who know a whole lot. They got a lot of facts sitting in their head. They can answer a whole bunch of questions. But ultimately, if what you know is not being reflected in how you move and operate, then what's the point? You're better off knowing nothing. The saying goes that the man who doesn't read any good books has no advantage over the man who can read books. There's no difference. Y'all know the same exact amount. Nothing. The difference with the person who doesn't know it, can't do it, is if you give them the opportunity to learn, they may turn around and go off. You have the ability, meanwhile, you're just not using it. So let's make sure to understand that, yes, that we're digging deeper. Yes, we get a better knowledge and understanding of who we are and our history and everything. But most important of all, make sure we're acting on the information. You're better off, you know, as much as we talk about how they only drag out Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech for Black History Month, and that's it. As much as we talk about that, if just that knowledge is enough to motivate you and to push you into going ahead and empowering yourself and empowering your people, then you're better off than 50 scholars that have nothing to show for all their wisdom and intellect. Take it, run with it. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us for another week. We hope that this has been beneficial to your life, beneficial to your family, beneficial to us as a whole. If you like what you've been hearing, you already know what to do. Make sure you go ahead and like, share, and subscribe this information. Tell somebody about us. Big up to our IG crew. We heavy over there. Shout out to Lidney and those other people who are watching this live and who are going to catch it later on the repeat. Make sure you click the bell icon and subscribe to all notifications. We're not going to go crazy on you, but when 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time rolls around, you know that it's time to go ahead and pull up a chair and get some of this good game that we're out here passing.
There it is.
On behalf of Manifestation 2020, Anthony Malcolm, Major Gage, Bobby Drake, we are Manifestations. Catch y'all next week. Same time, same place. Stay safe.
Yeah.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. A place where we inform, build, and inspire. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. A place where we inform. Manifestations. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there, you gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross, and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich? I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, if that people knew their glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. A place where we inform. Manifestations. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. A place where we inform. Manifestations. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. A place where we inform, build, and inspire.